In this lecture, we are going to discuss two essays of Francis Bacon, namely of marriage and single life and of studies. Francis Bacon's essay of marriage and single life indicates that it is comparative in subject matter. In this essay, as the title itself shows, Francis Bacon distinguishes between married life and single life. The two, married life and single life, mutually opposite subjects, are being compared, contrasted, and analyzed. Francis Bacon has given advantages and disadvantages of married life and single life at the same time. Bacon logically develops the arguments in favor of each subject of and also points out the lacunas and disadvantages of both. Bacon praises the virtues or advantages of the single or married life by comparing it with the life of a married person. The the opening sentence of the essay itself clarifies the intention of Francis Bacon. The opening sentence reads as, "He that hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune, for they are impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief." The opening statement goes in disfavor of the married life. Bacon uses a war metaphor for a married life by calling a married man a hostage given to life, as he has to perform all necessary duties towards his wife and children. His entire energy may be spent in procuring the facilities provided for his family. He is always in a bondage. He is always in a control of the wife and children. And if he fails his duty, he would become a subject of displeasure in the family and censure in society. Bacon says that single men or childless men are not tied down to any domestic duties, so they are free to work as for as their wish is concerned. That is why the great contributions to human society have come from the single or childless or unmarried men. The loyalty, according to Bacon, of the single or unmarried men is not conformed to the narrow circles of their families. They prove to be trustworthy and loyal friends in society. They are masters or servants. A single life, according to Bacon, is an advantage for the profession of a clergyman, for he can devote his entire time in the service of God and the people. Such are the important advantages of single life according to Francis Bacon. On the contrary, Francis Bacon also enlisted some of the disadvantages of a single or unmarried life. He says that a single or unmarried man may disregard or disrespected the importance of responsibility in life. There is no any kind of responsibility on the soldier of a single man. he may turn, there is a fear expressed by Francis Bacon about a single man that he may turn despotic and cruel. There is a fear in the mind of Francis Bacon. He may run away from the difficult situation because the single man or unmarried man has not taken any kind of responsibility in his life. Moreover, if a man remains single, unmarried, because he does not want to spend his wealth on his wife or children, or he wishes to be adored and remembered as the richest man, he is doing so for extremely selfish and foolish reasons. And this is also one of the fears expressed by Francis Bacon about single man. Such a single man would be of no help to society either, and any family as well. The single life is not advantageous for the professions of judges, magistrates, and soldiers. Francis Bacon has also given causes for this. He says the judges and magistrates must be responsible and sensitive people in society. The judges gives important decisions on crucial issues, and the wife and children instill a kind of sense of affection, responsibility, and duty in a married man. Same is the case with a soldier, according to Bacon. Married soldiers will uphold human values. They have a kind of responsibility, and they also courageously fight against the enemies on the battlefield. But single soldiers, according to Bacon, like those in the Turkish army, become extremely base and cruel on the battlefield because they have no any kind of responsibility. Single men, according to Bacon, are likely to become cruel and hard-hearted for the lack of familial love and related responsibility. It does not happen about the married man. In the uh, middle part of the essay, Francis Bacon talks about the disadvantages of a married life. He says married life has many disadvantages. At the same time, many advantages as well. Marriage, wife, and children bring a sense of discipline in humanity. In his own words, certainly, wife and children are a kind of discipline of humanity. Wife and children, according to Bacon, is a kind of discipline in humanity. He says the institution of marriage is very sacred, and it is at the center of a stable human civilization, a stable human relation. Wives, according to Bacon, are the best companions for their husbands at all stages of one's life. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. So, this is the special feature of wives according to Bacon. They are a source of joy and happiness for young men, trustworthy companions for middle-aged men, and caring, loving nurses for old men. In short, wives take care of their husband in their young age, in their middle age, and the old age as well. The chaste and obedient wife is a boon in man's life, according to Bacon. But such a woman is very proud of her behavior and very strict in her manners. She will adore her husband. She will respect her husband if he is wise and sensible. She will despise, she will hate him if he is jealous. So Bacon says wife should be adored to her husband. Hence, a husband should acknowledge the virtues of his wife and treat her with respect and honor. To explain his argument more, Bacon quotes Ulysses, who is a legendary figure from a Greek epic Ulysses. He was a legendary warrior in the war who rejects immortality in favor of his aging wife. After offering serious and grave counsel, advices on married life and the duties of wives and husband, Bacon turns to a married life. He argues that bad husbands are endowed with good wives. This is the statement in the essay. Bad wives are endowed with good wives. They bring forth and appreciate the goodness of their husbands and thus protect them from public shame and dishonor. So this is the characteristics of the goodness of the husbands that has been bring by the bad women. If they have chosen bad husbands, then by shielding the voices of their husbands, they are trying to correct their own mistakes. On the issue of the appropriate age of marriage, they can use a characteristic tongue in cheek counsel. He advises that a young man should not rush into marriage, for he will not be mature enough to take on the responsibilities properly. So, young age is not the proper age of marriage according to Bacon. Here I will read the statement what Bacon says in the essay. He asked he asked a question when a man should marry, and he replied, a young man not yet, an elder man not at all. It is often seen that bad husbands have very good wives, whether it be that it is raised the price of their husband's kindness when it comes. But this never fails if the bad husbands were of their own choosing against their friends' consent, for then they will be sure to make good their own folly. He advises at the ending part of the essay that a young man should not rush into the marital bond because he is not enough mature to take responsibility of the family properly, and an old man should never marry because he is not fit and is ill suited for all purposes and functions of a married life. In this way, Francis Bacon, the father of English essay, has enumerated his own observations on the married life and the single life. He has given the advantages of single life at one level and advantages and disadvantages of married life at another level. His observations are very simple, to the point, and make an aporistic statements, aporistic arguments on both of the subjects in this philosophical and thoughtful essay titled Of Marriage and Single Life. Now we will switch over to the discussion of the another essay prescribed in our syllabi titled Of Studies. The title of the essay itself indicates that Francis Bacon has enumerated his views on a very specific, on a very important topic titled study. Why study is important, what it provides, and what kind of knowledge that we earn, that we achieve from study. What is the benefit of the study? What is the utility of the study? What study provides to the learners? These are various questions that occurs in the mind of the readers, and the answers of all these questions that Francis Bacon has provided in a very short philosophical and thoughtful essay titled of Studies. In this essay, Francis Bacon gives his advice on the proper use of studies. There are various statements that have gone into the common stock of conversations of both laymen and scholars. Many of the statements in the short essay have become proverbs, and many of the councils or many of the orators used these statements, used these proverbs in their oratory. This essay hence stands as the best example of Francis Bacon's aphoristic style of essays. The essay of Studies opens with a crystal clear statement regarding the concrete use of study. Francis Bacon says that the importance of study, the proper use of study is for delight. It gives pleasure, it gives ornamentation, and it gives ability. In his own words, see, studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. Again, he says, their chief use for delight is in privateness and retiring, for ornament is in discourse, and for ability is in the judgment and disposition of business. So, this is the opening proverb, opening sentence occurred in the essay of Studies. It is crystal clear that Bacon offers wise counsel for taking up the study in a right measure. He counted the benefits of study and says that it is for delight, it is for enlightenment. Study enlightens us, study gives us pleasure, it gives ornament, and it gives ability to know or to learn more things. Spending, he says, spending much time in studies leads to laziness of the mind. So it is not proper, it is not good, it is not fair to spend much more time in studies. That is for the sake of study. Study should not be take for the sake of study. People may avoid other important duties assigned to or expected of them and fully busy in study without understanding anything. So this kind of study for the sake of study is not useful, is not beneficial for the studious person according to Francis Bacon. The out of place use of study gives the impression that the person is not wise enough and just desires to make a show of study. So this show of study, according to Francis Bacon, is not beneficial. Moreover, if the knowledge acquired out of study is not used for practical purposes, that is, the person has only bookish knowledge without having any skills and values for its proper use, then the true purpose of study is not served at all, according to Bacon. So, proper study should be utilized in a proper practical knowledge. A studious person has to cut off the unnecessary parts from his study as a gardener cuts off the excessive parts of a bush. Francis Bacon emphasizes the need of proper use of knowledge and the practical knowledge for that matter, acquiring skills and values, acquiring proper knowledge instead of already busy, making himself or herself busy in continuous study. The actual knowledge that one should gain and the acquired knowledge should be utilized in a practical way in society, which is wisdom rather than on mere acquisition or collection of multiple facts. He points out strongly the procedure of keen practical observation and its systematic analysis in matters of study. Bacon's insistence on this kind of study is tuned with the scientific spirit of the Elizabethan age of learning. And this scientific spirit of knowledge is the need of today's, in the need of the hour. Bacon offers many practical suggestions for the learners, and this fruitful and appropriate use of study will definitely prove helpful for society. Bacon says one should not study just for the sake of counter arguments. Counter arguments will not give any kind of benefit for the all round development of any person. Disproving points or just to confirm one's belief is also not useful. Bacon says one should not take something for granted simply because it comes from some authority. The proper purpose and function of study, according to Bacon, is to enable readers to judge matters properly. Judgment, which means to bring the right and the wrongdoings, the right and wrong points, the merits and demerits, the lacunas, the advantages and disadvantages properly, along with all pros and cons, and then consider its relative merits or demerits. Actual study, the proper study, gives such kind of knowledge to bring out the merits and demerits. So the actual judgment that a man learns from the real study. Not all books carry the same worth and treatment. Important books, there is no need to read all books. Bacon says important books should be thoroughly studied. Of some books, only important parts should be studied. Some books are thoroughly studied. Of some books, only important parts should be studied, while some books will be read by others, usually by the deputies, and only the important extract should be read by those in high offices. In his own words, some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. So this chewing and digesting of some of the books are very important because this book gives more and more knowledge. It makes a man knowledgeable, and this knowledge has to be fully utilized for the benefit of community, for the benefit of society at a large extent. Bacon says some books are to be read only in parts. Not all books should, there is no need to read all books. It should be read in parts. Others to be read, but not curiously, not meticulously, and some few to be read wholly. Some books has to be read wholly, not in a part, and with diligence and attention. By giving more and more attention, meticulously, these such kind of books should be read. So, reading gives comprehensive knowledge, and it makes a man perfect so far as understanding is concerned. This comprehensive knowledge to a person which study gives, which reading gives, is very important for a studious person. It makes him a witty person. It makes him knowledgeable. It gives him wisdom. It gives him a proper judgment to understand what is right and what is wrong. Writing makes him concrete and exact because the writing becomes a permanent record of what one has thought or said and is available for verification at a later stage, at any stage. Books of the various disciplines, whether it may be a discipline of science or arts or humanities or a commerce prepare readers for taking up different professions. Study develop manners in a person. Study gives us how to live and how to behave in society. It teaches manners, it gives us values, it gives us skills. As there are various exercises and remedies available for various physical illnesses, there are different kinds of books available for the illness or defects of the mind. So to take an example of the medical field, there are various books which is available in the medical discipline which gives the exact cause of a disease and the remedy on this disease. So a person who wants to gain knowledge in the discipline of medicine, he or she must read the books in the discipline of medicine. One must consult the appropriate books for study and use the resources judiciously, meticulously. The essay, the essay comes to the conclusion with giving an advice that a book should be read judiciously, meticulously, and what is more important, that we should have to achieve, we should have to learn from this book. The concluding proverb in this thoughtful essay reads as, every defect of the mind may have a special receipt, and this special receipt that Francis Bacon has uh, elaborated in this essay. In a nutshell, Francis Bacon's essay of studies describes the importance of study, and it also describes the main objectives of learning. It also discusses the benefits of reading, writing, and speaking. At the same time, it also talks about the benefit of acquiring proper knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Knowledge is the power, and the knowledge that we acquire from study by reading the books, by reading various books of the various disciplines, should be utilized for the benefit of the society. This is the duty of the studious person, according to Francis Bacon, that his knowledge should be utilized for society at a large extent. So, in short, Francis Bacon's this essay talks about the importance of study, and one should not forget that we acquire more and more knowledge by studying and studying. But what kind of parts that we have to digested, we have to chewed, that one learner must understand. This is what Francis Bacon's observation about studies expressed in this thoughtful short essay titled Of Studies.